Well, hello, it's Angela with Dogwood Paper Arts, and I'm back. I hope you were able to watch my short that I put out this morning. Yesterday I was busy working on this so that I could make a video, and I didn't get to because I had to go to the post office, and then I came back, worked for a little bit more because I came home with this from the post office. It was in one of their little freebie things, and yeah, it's just an advertisement they had. I wish I could make a copy of this for you, but I can't because they own it. But I'm going to use this to trace around and make. This may not be the best paper to use. You might need a heavier cardstock. Let's see. What do we got down here? Oh, this would work. Pretty big, but it would work. Let's just use it. This is my mixed media pad. Normally I wouldn't take one of these to make it, but look at how nice and thick that is. That'll make a nice copy of this card. I'm going to use this card to make my pattern with. So you might check your post office and see if they have one. And if not, it's a circle on top with a little line down. Same on both sides. Straight line, a little house, upside down house shape. And then some wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then this is back to where we have this same shape. And up and around. And there we go. Pretty easy. So we got a bulb up here. A ball, a circle. We got a straight line down on both sides, about even. Straight line down here, little house shape, upside down, wiggle, 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 and then this weird little shape sloping uphill and back in. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing with mine. I hope you can find one at the post office, and if I can draw out a key, I'll post it on my Ko-fi site and you can get a copy there. It just so happened when I picked this up yesterday, I thought, man, that will fit right in my little sacks. And so I thought I needed it, and I brought it home. And then I got to looking at my little sacks, and I thought, I'm going to do them the opposite way, because I did a sack journal before with this as the opening. But look at this. I mean, this will fit perfectly in here. And still show with this really cool little pocket that we're going to have on it. Okay, so let me show you how I did my sacks to keep this part, and why I haven't attached this part yet. And we'll put this key up there. So you'll need 2 sacks. And I very carefully broke the glue here, and then I carefully broke the glue on this side. Trying to preserve what's under it, and then it's easy peasy, I just clipped it off on that line, and then I clipped it here along this line, and then over here along this line. Don't get in here, just right here on this first little area. So when you open it up here, now you have this little man dancing around. Doo doo doo, or a woman. Doo 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 doo. See? And then I cut the arms off straight across like so. And I threw this part away. Now if you want to save it, you can. I'm not going to. I have enough saved papers. Okay, now you'll notice because this is still folded down, or part of our sack, that it keeps this part, the expander, held down. So we're going to get in the expander here with our glue. Let me see if I can do this. See? And we're only going to glue this piece here on top. We're going to leave this open down here. We're only going to glue these two down. So let me get my glue. And I'm going to go it down as far as I can with my glue. And just put some little glue dots along there. Trying not to get on the inside of the sack. Easier said than done, I must say. And then I'm going to reach in here and press it down so that it remains with this piece here. See? So now this one is nice and flat. I'm just reaching in there to see if I have any glue in there that needs me to take it off. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to just get down in there with my glue. It's hard to see, I know. We're just gluing that little piece down so that it stays out of the way of the tag. Because I'm not planning on covering the inside. So now your sack will look like this. Well, like this. It still has the same amount of space in it. So what you want to do right here is you want to get this one pretty close, because this is the end your key is going on. And go ahead and get that glued down good right there. And always check for glue in here, because the way this little sack, it really pops out there, I'll tell you. Okay, so now with your sack, I'm going to turn it face up, which is this part. I'm just going to keep this fold here, and I'm just going to come down from here, go down along the edge, and just glue it. I don't want it to be, it's just a reinforcement for the journal, really. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So this is the stage one. I said stage this morning. Watching the Tour de France. And yeah, so stages, you know. Okay, so then let's look right in here. And you'll notice that maybe there's a little opening right here inside your sack. See that? Just a little opening. Put just a little bit of glue at the very beginning, just to seal that up, so when you poke things into it, they don't get stuck. Because like I said, I'm not putting paper on the inside. I am going to put some on the outside. Okay, the other side was fine. And then right here, and this is just reinforcement on this part, really. I'm going to put a little bit of stuff right here in this hole. I'm going to glue that little flap down. I'm going to paper over this part, but I just want it to be as sturdy as possible. So a little glue inside of there, and a little glue in here. Doesn't need a lot. It just needs a little few dots or so. Okay, so now we have this. And then you need to do a second one. Okay, So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to go to my stack that now has a front and a back, a page and an adjoining page is what it is, this way. So I'm going to flip them like this, and then I'm going to cut a piece of heavy-duty scrap that is going to fit inside of here. Now this one I think is going to be too small. Oh, there's a little thing sticking out there. Maybe I didn't get that one all the way glued. I didn't. Let's trade it. Oh, maybe I saved these two to do with you. No, I did that one. Did that one. Did that one. Okay, let's use this one. Put that over there. Okay. Whoops, I don't want to wrinkle that yet. Not yet. Okay, so this needs to fit inside of here. And it needs to fit, it should fit fairly snugly, but not so tight that it breaks your bag. So you see I only cut off a little strip there. Now I cut my other ones at an angle, one of my other ones at an angle. That did not work too well. And then on your first one, I'm not going to do it on this one, but on your first one you're going to measure from the center out 3/4 of an inch and draw a line. And then measure from the center this way 3/4 of an inch and draw a line. And then on your first, that's your first bag. Let me see. Your first bag, this is the 3/4. You're going to insert this. That is really crooked right there. It's driving me up the wall. Okay. With that line, you're going to put glue and insert this and glue it down right along that line. Okay, so, and it will look like this. Oh, not on that side, Angela. Okay, I suggest you have it face up to you. Okay, let's just do it right. Okay, face up, 1/4 inch, insert. So it's only going to be in that far, about 1/4 inch, and press it down, and this will glue. And then you attach the second bag, face up, same way, 1/4 inch, and glue it down. Then go ahead and glue this side down, and glue this one down. Now that's just for your first bag. So now we're going to move on to the second bag. Now this is the one I said I angled. See here? It didn't work because it's not going to matter, but because I'm leaving it, but it's better this way. But I angled it thinking, oh, that'll be better. Well, I was wrong. I should have only angled it at my cut area here, not clear up here. Anyway, that was how I did it. So this is my next bag. I'm going to insert this one onto there, and then I drew my line, and you see I got off. But what you're going to do as you insert that is you're going to line these bags up, face up, so all the tag holes are facing up. And you're going to insert that middle part. And I took a ruler and put it in the middle and pushed it down so that my sacks would all be even, like that. Then I inserted this into the top bag and made sure they were even, and I glued the first one down. So we're going to try it with these, okay? Let me get one that's dry. That one's still drying. Okay, face up. I'm going to put these ends all together. And let's try using a bulldog clip on it. See if that holds it good for us. Right there, and I think maybe right along this edge so that it holds those together. Now, I don't know if this one will be long enough. Let's look. Yeah, it will be. We'll be able to insert it into both new bags. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we're going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch on this spine. So we're making sure that our bags are aligned neatly so that we can do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch back here. So we're going to insert this into there. Now these bags are all a little bit sized differently, so it is a little fiddly to get it in there. And that was why I angle cut the other one. Don't angle cut, it doesn't work. Yeah, see, make this one a little bit smaller. It's really not going to matter because we're going to cover the spine anyway. Okay, so I would do this piece first. There we go. Okay. Now let's line that up and get this part back there, line that up with the back. Okay, there we go. I'm lined up on the front and the top, the front, the top, and here. So I'm going to just draw myself a little line. You don't need to draw it all the way across if you don't want. And while I have it sitting there, now if you want, you could go ahead and paper clip this all together with that thing in there. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way, the way I did the first time. So every time I cut one of these flaps, I cut it just a little bit bigger so that it can fit into. They're so hard to get in there. I'm just fumbling around. Okay, don't press it down until you have it lined up. Okay, I'm just going to barely press it. Now I want to get it back on here. And I want to line these up so that my sacks are even down here and they're even up here. And they're fairly, even everywhere else. And then press it down. Okay? So let's flip it over. And this time, let me just put it down here. This time your sack is going to go on the back. This piece face down. See, that's your key place. So that it's matching all these. And once again, you're going to insert your sack. Lots easier when they're all glued or all clipped together down here. Much easier. And then even your sacks up. And then I just went inside to here just like this. And I glued it down. There. Now the one thing I probably will do is come through and clip this off and even it up. But I'm going to wait just a little bit before I do that. So now I have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That won't work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I told you 7 wouldn't work. I'm going to have to make 6 journal card keys to go in here. So now if we want to make our book bigger, then we continue adding more of these. So should we give it one more layer? Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut a piece off here. And I'm making it pretty large to begin with, because I can always cut some off. I just can't add any to it. So let's make it, let's make it 1.5 inches. I know it probably doesn't need to be that big. There we go. So, and then we got to make it fit this piece. So this time I'm going to come in just a little bit off the edge there on both sides, and I'll clip that. And then I just folded it in half, and 1.5 inches is not going to be big enough. I can already tell. So it's probably going to have to be a 2-inch one, because they should be fairly even here. And of course mine are not. See, when I fold it over, that's not nearly enough. Okay, so mistake 1 down the tubes. So let's do a 2.5 inch one. We know that's way more than we need. And where's that one I threw down the tubes? I need to mark it off here. Oh dear. There we go. And fold this over. And let's see if it will fit. Now it has to come over this sack. And it does, and it's just right. So it had to be 2.5 inches. Okay, so once again, we put it this way and paper clip it. Let's just clip down there. That seems to be good enough. And I guess we could just clip this one on there as well, so it's even with the rest of the sacks up here. Wrong direction. I heard ya. So it's even up here. Like I said, we might have to clip this part because of how I cut the bags. I just cut them. I didn't give them a straight line cut. I just sliced them up. Okay. And this piece is going to go inside of this bag. It probably won't fit. It seems like every one I've had to trim them back down. Let's see, we glued that one together. Okay. So bring it up to go over that part. Just flipping it around here so I can, I'm not going to draw the line this time, I'm just going to glue it. Push that all together so it's all nice and even. There we go. Flip it over, and this time this is face down. And we insert this one Let's prepare it by attaching it first with a bulldog clip. A bigger bulldog clip might be a good idea. I just had small ones on my desk. I'm going to flip it this way just for my convenience. And I'm going to put glue in there and glue that down. Okay, now let's open this back up and make sure that I've glued down the backs of these right down here. I haven't done that yet. So right along that bag, right along that same piece you just made, this piece, glue that to it. And then right here, just glue that to it. Now we know this is our front page, so I'm going to write front, and then we know this is page 2. I'm going to write 2 on it so I don't lose my place. I haven't glued that one either. And this one. Get that glue off there. Putting it on my hands for a little lotion. Okay. Now let's go to page 3. And make sure that's glued. I didn't glue them, I guess. I was waiting for you to get here. Okay. And page, this 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And open that one up and check it, and I have glued that one. Okay, so there is the beginning of our journal. So you'll need at least 6, or as many as 6, many as 8 if you want. We're just going to make a small journal, 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It will have a different cover over the back, because we're going to make a different one. And then I took, now I'm using the long paper, the legal size, and I just folded it in half and cut it at 1, 2, 3.5 inches wide, because my sack is 3.5 inches. And then inside here we'll put 4 or 5 pages, maybe 4. Let's do 4. And then we're going to put several pages in between each one of these. There's just 2 there. It's a small journal. You don't have to make it giant. So let's do this one, and I'll give myself a line so I know where to cut it. Okay, then I took a couple pieces of paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, and got them all together neatly, and I folded it in half. And I could have got out my big trimmer, but I didn't want to do that. I had the small one on the table, and I thought I'm just going to use it. And it works so well, I like it. And then we're going to cut this off at 3.5 inches. 3.5 this way. this way on this side. And you really got to hold it down with your trimmer like this so that the paper doesn't move. There. And let's make another 3.5 inch line. There we go. Now, it doesn't quite make the inside, you know, to the edge, but that was okay with me because I kind of like that. You could still see where all the tags were like that. So, I need to put, let's say 2. Here's 2. Here's 2. Now we're going to have a cover on here, so I'm going to put 2 here. There. And then in the center, did I already put some in the center? Oh, I did. Oh no, that one has them. Here's the center. In the center, I'm going to put the 4. There. How's that? So that's as far as you need to get today. And then we'll probably add some little bits here to the front of this, just to add some color to the journal. But that's as far as you need to go today. Okay? So, I appreciate you joining me for stage 1 of a paper bag or a paper sack journal. And the reason I'm calling it a new style is because we're using the bottom of the bag as a decorative element for a tag. And then we're creating a tag to go in it. I'm using a key. And, you know, you could use anything. If you have some little Tim Holtz people, you can insert the people in there with the tag and they can be peeking out. You could use big flower tags like these. I got these when Rachel at Roxy Creations was doing excuse me, some large flower things. So you could take the large flower and put a tag on it. Let's do that. Let's see how it works. We know it can't be any more than wider than this. So let's take our flower and perhaps, oh, these might be a sticker. Oh, let's get a different piece. Let's get another one of those. Where are they? That's a gold one. That's gold. All right, where's my paper? I seem to be finding all the gold stuff. Tag stuff. Well, darn it. I don't know where my heavy duty stuff is. Let me grab some. It must be at the other end of my cabinet. Where did it go? Figures I'd lose it. Well, found my 12 by 12, but not my 8.5 by 11. Huh. We'll just have to use the 12 by 12. Isn't that weird? Don't you hate that when that happens? I pulled it out so I'd have it, and now I've lost it, so I don't have it. But here, I have a 12 by 12. we can use it to make a tag out of a large flower, another large advertisement maybe. So what I want to do here is I want to actually cover the back of this while I'm at it, so that it remains as one heavy duty piece. So I'm just going to cut around that. That means got to do those wiggles there. Oh, but I'm not going to, darn it, I did it wrong. Let's go over here. Figure out which is up and which is down of your tag. Okay, let's go up here. So if we go up, then we know from here, from this widest part down here, and this one up here, let's see, from these parts right down here, I'm thinking as I go, that's why it sounds like I'm off, and I am. Trace it, then from the widest part, or maybe not, draw a little line, and that's where you're going to drop your straight line down. Does that make sense? So I think I have 2 pieces of paper here. So let me do that. So I'm going to line that line up right there. And I'm going to stop before I get to the flower. And then I'm going to line it up here. And stop before I get to the flower. I know it's too long. And now I'm going to cut around the flower. And it may not be even. That's okay. I'll just use ink to cover it in. It's this brown paper, so you know the ink won't. It's not like it's a bright white paper. The ink will kind of cover any mistakes that I have. Let me cut that piece right there so I can get around this little corner here. There. Okay. And then you'll want to attach your flower. Now this does look like a sticker, and it is. I never knew these were stickers. No idea. I'm still going to use glue. Hopefully I can line it back up with this. I know my wiggle down here was at the bottom, so I wouldn't have to cut the super wiggles. And so there we go. You could use a piece of purple paper or, you know, whatever you want down there. And you could leave it as a double tag like this if you want. Or you could figure out how deep it needs to be to go into your bag. So if I insert this to here, then I know it can't be, it has to be less than this, at least by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to draw my line, and then I'm going to back up about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch to make my tag. So if you want to make tags, let's go this way, because I want to be able to line this up on here. Excuse me, I have a cough. And there's our pretty little tag. Now it would have been better had I made it purple, but I didn't. But a purple tag would be very pretty with that flower, wouldn't it? So this is how it's going to fit into your sack. Little peeking out flower. So anything that you have I'm sorry. It's allergies for me that have been very bad. Really terrible. So anything you have like that would work. If you have some little frames and you want to put pictures in them, use those. Here's some more flowers. I bought these all in a bag. So, you could use, you could even use these if they fit and make these into little tags that stick out here on the edge of your book. So you could have a whole bunch of little words here as you flip the page. So you could have those. What else? Well, I think that's about it for me. I don't know. You could use these. These are those little board things. So you don't have to have a key. The key was just the idea that I came up with because I saw it at the post office, and I thought, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that will go in that bag. And so that's what I wanted to use. Okay, so there we go. We have a cute little tag inside of that book. And this is what our book looks like for right now. Okay, so just remember you need to cut these at a little bigger each time. And if you want, you can insert them into the bag like so, and then fold it over when you get here, and then you'll know how much you need. So, but you decide how it works best for you to cut those. I don't have a measurement for you. I did it just by how I showed you. I just made a mistake, and then the next one I made it, a 1/2 inch bigger. So anyway, then when we get down to here, we will probably trim this off, like I said, because it's all very different sizes down here. But what we will do next time is we will be decorating these parts, and then we're going to decorate this part. So we'll need to figure out how to make a pattern of that so that we can just cut this piece here. Now, or you can cut it as one whole piece if you want. The back will be easy because it's, there. And we're going to cut them clear down to here, but not in the center. Not in here. Okay? All right. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the very next video as we progress into stage 2. Okay? I appreciate you being here, and thanks for trusting me and hanging out with me. I sure appreciate it. And oh, let me show you before you go. My chain, my dangle thing that my daughter made me, it kept coming out. So I finally took a new pin, and I glued a flower on it. Glued here. Then I flipped it over, and I put a piece of, I cut a bigger piece of plastic from packaging, and I put a bunch of glue under here. Then I put the plastic on it and glued it down. The reason I did that was so when it gets to here, the flower doesn't glue it closed. Because the flower material would. The plastic just, comes loose. So, there it is. Now I know which is my pin because it's got a flower on it. There we go. Okay, that was it. Got all my things done and said, and now I'm going to actually say So long, farewell. It's time to say goodbye. Bye.